Welcome to Scripts and Giggles with Shoshana
and Money.
So we're going to continue our review of Murder at First Sight.
And we're going to keep being wild.
Yes. And now we're going to move on to our next couple. And this is an example of a more secure girly, Sasha.
Let's go.
Sasha is 29. Mm-hmm. She's an aesthetics practitioner from Birmingham. She has a very interesting family. They were reminding me of like At Home with the Furies, like the Tyson Fury family. Her dad is a boxer. Actually, sounds like a lot of people in the family
are bodybuilders?
Yes.
Her dad used to be a boxer, but now he's a bodybuilder. And his mum's a bodybuilder, and her brothers are bodybuilders, and she's the only one who's not a bodybuilder.
Because she's Miss Birmingham 2018.
Yes.
And she's only had one long-term relationship, and she's been single for the past 9 months, and has made a decision to become celibate until the right man comes along. And she is looking for someone who is just like her dad, who is funny, who is loyal. Her dad has been with
respectful women.
Yes.
He grew up in a house full of women.
Exactly. And then comes along Ross.
Yeah, Ross was born deaf.
Yeah.
He uses hearing aids and lip reads.
Yeah.
He also learnt to sign. I honestly loved when he was talking about like he went to college and he did a course, and as part of the course he learnt sign, and it just opened up like this whole new community and world to him, because he was born into a hearing family.
Yeah.
So like, you know, I think we can all imagine that feeling of being different for like a good chunk of your life, and then going learning this language, and suddenly like you're in a room full of people who are exactly like you, and you can all communicate. I found that really heartwarming. He has a daughter.
Oh yes, he does.
And he just seems like a really chill dude.
He does. He likes some banter. He seems really funny, but also he seems like a very proud father. Proud father, and very protective of his home. He just gave like one of those typical English fathers.
What the hell is a typical English father? I've never even heard that phrase in my life, and I don't think I want to.
I don't know, just like one of those like traditional fathers who just wants to protect their kids, like Sasha's dad.
Yeah, he's kind of similar. I mean, I wouldn't call either one of them traditional, but because I don't really know what can...
Yeah, I don't know.
Something about them being bodybuilders that makes it not feel traditional, but like...
I don't... Watch At Home with the Furies. That's how I was kind of getting... That's where my head was at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Quite salt of the earth type people, I guess, maybe. Anyway, they get married. He comes down they meet at the aisle. They like each other, how they look. She is nervous because she's celibate and doesn't know how to have the conversation with him, sorry, not to tell people how to live in their celibacy, but like, girl, what the hell? You know you're not going to sleep in a bed with this guy, so you might as well just play it out.
Yeah, just like, we're not sleeping together, you take the couch. Good for you? Great.
She's hoping he will offer to take the couch, which felt a bit like, what happens if he doesn't offer? Like, you're going to have to tell him to take the couch, but that will ruin it for you. How would someone know? Because most of these people are fucking on the first night.
Yeah.
Like, he's coming here, no expectations. What I appreciate is you guys should decide together what that plan is, I think.
Yeah.
So rather than her just expect him to come up to her and be like, I'll sleep on the couch, that should have been a conversation with like,
100%.
hi, really enjoying the wedding. Just FYI, I'm celibate and like don't feel comfortable sharing a bed. I'm not gonna force you to take the couch, but like I would really appreciate it if you took the couch. And then he could say, oh yeah, cool, no worries. Or he could say, no, I love sex. I want to have sex with my wife in my bed tonight. And
that's all you need to know.
Exactly.
And then, girl, you stand up and you quit.
But anyway, she tells Ross's friend. Ross's friend tells him. He's like, celibate? I don't know what that word means. His friend explains it to him. He's like, yeah, okay, fine, I'll sleep on the couch, not fast. But they edit him beforehand to be like, I love sex, Ross. I can't wait to have sex with my wife. And so it's like, clearly they're trying to be like, oh, how will they deal with this massive conflict? And it's like, he's just like, okay.
Yeah, and the things. So I was mentioning this off the pod. So one couple from the previous year, it was a lesbian couple, and I can't remember their names, which I should have just researched. They recently got engaged, and they were the couple that one of the partners was vegan and the other one ate meat, and that was the point of contention between them. And during production, they had to go to the producers and say, look, you need to start asking questions about veganism, because it felt like they were continuously trying to ask this question to get something out of them, to try and create some type of drama. And it felt like in that moment, when you talk about like having the contrast of Ross saying, I love sex, and then the contrast of him going, I'm happy to take this sofa, it felt like that was probably producer induced. But
yeah, it's just conflict for the episode. Every
100%.
wedding has had
something.
form of conflict, right? So they went, oh, okay, so the celibate thing will be the conflict.
Yeah,
and we'll just have Ross say a couple of sound bites of like, sex is cool, I love it so much, and then we'll just keep replaying it throughout the episode. Like, because I found myself being like, why does he even talk about it? It's giving like, you just heard of sex today.
Yeah.
Like, oh yes, can't wait to do it with my wife. I've definitely done it before. Like,
yeah, it's
giving you a habit. But anyway, he sleeps on the couch. They go on their honeymoon. He's a consummate gentleman.
He buys a flower. He brings her flowers. Yeah.
They end up sharing a bed. They have cuddles, which I was surprised by. I thought she was gonna be like, okay, pillows down the middle, baby. But she was just like, you can give me a little cuddle. And by the time they get to the dinner party, they're just, we're best friends and we love each other. Like, the energy is very like two people who feel linked and also have come to the dinner party to be with their partner, not to be doing up business.
Yeah, true.
Like everybody else who comes there and wears their dress and is there to be in drama.
Honestly, it felt like they are a very normal, stable relationship. Of course, time will tell how long it lasts. Yeah, it does. And like when they have conflicts, how they manage it. The things that they will face in a relationship, but I really like them as a couple. I end up like smiling and while I watch them, and it's very rare that it happens.
Was she giggling and kicking your feet?
No, not really. But I just felt like in the contrast with all the other couples, this one was a bit of a respite, and we thank God for that. But and I also love that she came with a boundary of celibacy. I really did. Even though I was like, again, girl, why are you on this show?
But why not?
True.
The show is not about sex, is it?
There was a guy who was a virgin that went on the show. I mean, he did lose his virginity. It wasn't on Married at First Sight UK. It was, I think it was Maths US I think it was US. But, and then they didn't end up, it didn't work. But like,
I think genuinely, why not? Because there are people on here who will be blasting each other's personal business just to end up at the end not together. So
true.
Why not? If we're gonna be together, then it'll be great. The thing that we're working towards, and if we're not, no harm done in it. I'm not gonna hate you. Whereas I think she seems like the kind of, like she said, she needs a connection to have sex. So I think it would feel like much more of a betrayal for them to have had sex and then it not work out. So if you know that about yourself, lean into it.
And that's why I'm really happy that she brought that boundary in. And I'm perfectly honest, I think a lot of the girlies should have taken that boundary too. That's my personal opinion. I do think, and as she has alluded to, I do think adding the physical element in the relationship can cloud judgments, and that will come up with some of the other couples. But speaking from one secure couple to another one, Christina. She's 31. She's a dog walker and a Reiki.
For dogs. Specifically.
The dog, yeah. For Reiki for dogs. I'll be honest, when we first saw her on screen, this was at the Hindu, this girl was loud. I just remember thinking, this girl, her normal talking voice is shouting. And she was starting to get on my nerves. Because I was like, who is this girl and why is she shouting? She was like uber excited. And all the other brides could see, like she was very excited. So I was keen about who is this girl. I actually thought that she made a source of drama, but I feel like that may not be the case. But again, we have to wait and see. And then she loves animals. I think that's something that was really clear. She loves her dogs. And she's partnered with Kieran. One other thing about her is that she's 31. She struggles with PMDD, which is premenstrual deficit disorder.
No.
What?
No, it's not.
Postmenstrual.
It's not. What the hell? What are you in deficit of, by the way? Premenstrual deficit disorder. There's no way it's that. Can you look it up, please?
Oh my god.
What is it?
I'm so sorry. Do you know what's even worse? I came with confidence.
I think it's depressive.
It is premenstrual dysphoric disorder.
Okay.
I actually wasn't that far off, man.
Do you know what dysphoric means?
No, what does that mean? Oh, PMDD causes severe irritability, depression, or anxiety in the week or two before your period starts. Bruh.
Sorry, you thought when you was like, oh, I nailed it with deficit.
Dysphoric means. I'm sorry. Is a profound state of unease or disadvantage. Fam, I'm so sorry.
Please, all our fans who have PMDD, don't be mad at me. Be mad at Shoshana.
No, I'm so sorry. I may even cut that part out. I'm sorry.
No, I think leave it in.
No, actually, no. It was too funny. I didn't mean to say that.
I think leave it in.
No.
You don't mean any harm.
No, I really don't. So she's 31. She has PMDD, and that's something that's impacted her previous relationships, and she just meets someone to accept her and also accept that this is part of her life as well.
She's loud.
And that she is loud and she has loads of energy. And you can see it with her family. That's the kind of person that she is. She's not someone that can be with someone like Casper. Like, she needs someone that was going to match her energy. And when they introduced Kieran, who they used him in the teaser, he has he's on a very similar wavelength. He has a dog. He seems also very sensitive as well, but also he's happy to have a joke or two, and I think that's very important to him in terms of relationship, as we find out at the hour. And actually, when we get to the wedding, he decides, against the advice of his friends, to use some fake teeth for his reveal, so that when he first meets her, whoever his potential bride would be, that he will come with these like really fake horrible teeth and just play a prank on his wife, which perfectly honest is very risky. And you need to have the right partners to have the sense of humour, and it's a great humour test. That being said, if I was walking down the aisle, if I was walking down the aisle, bad teeth.
Why is it? But how's
I know it's just terrible, because maybe he was thinking, perfectly honest, if that woman was on one, she could have been like, nope, and walked off. I mean, that would have been.
That's never happened.
It's
No, not
I
really.
really want people to do that.
But do you know how disrespectful it would be to walk in and then go, nah, and then walk out? On what basis? Because I looked at him, he's ugly as hell.
Fam, they do worse on Pop the Balloon.
Pop the Balloon is for that, though. That's what it's for. This show is about a 9-week experiment, and you're not even making it past the first 5 minutes.
That is, you need some humour in this, but I think the whole...
And what's the joke? The joke is, haha, somebody was so ugly, someone walked out.
Yeah.
That's not funny.
I mean, it's not, but people have sick sense of humour.
But that's not funny.
A sick level of sense of... anyway.
Like, as the producer, you get to pick what the humour of your show is. Why would you go, let's laugh at people being rejected?
No, I mean, it is silly and it's stupid, no doubt about it. And it was his idea. I don't think the producers asked him to do it. If anything, they probably didn't. But that being said, it made such a moment, they used it for the teaser. But then she walks down the aisle and she's like, what's going on? Like,
she looks scared.
She did, like, blindsided. And everyone's just like, I think everyone's just holding their breath, like, what is going on? And then he eventually takes the teeth out and is like, nah, it was just a joke. And then she starts screaming like, oh my gosh, I couldn't believe it. Oh my God, I really thought, And then that kind of broke the ice. And then you start to discover that they really have a very similar vibe, very similar sense of humour. They're a bit silly. And it just felt very smooth sailing from the wedding all the way to the honeymoon. Like, they didn't seem to have any issues. They just seemed to be very excited to be around each other. I'm so keen to see what happens in the future when they do eventually meet conflict, how they take that face on. They have such loud personalities and energies. I hope that can be channeled in a really mature way when they face conflicts. But again, this is a really secure couple because it's a great match. They work on a real like personality level, and even though he may not be like, I think she said that he was a bit short, because that was one thing. I think he's like
he was
5'6".
short, and then she was then she would have asked for.
But she's also a petite.
Yeah, he's still taller than her.
Yeah, he is. And that was something that he wanted. And
I mean, that was the only thing about him that was making me nervous. Is like how often he kept on referring to like height and like, oh, I don't want to be with a woman because she, it's just gonna be like, oh, you're too short. I was like, please, it's giving short man syndrome.
But I think that a lot of men do stuff like.
So doesn't mean it's okay.
I know it's not, but
just made me a bit nervous. But like, we've not heard anything about it since.
No,
so maybe it was just him like preempting, like, I'm meeting a new person, they're probably going to mention the height, so I'm just going to get her in front of it. And then it was like, oh, she doesn't mind. So
she doesn't mind at all. And she even said like, your height doesn't matter. Like, there's so much love and there's so much like respect they have. Like, height doesn't matter. So yeah, that's one of my favorites. I wasn't kicking my shoes, but kicking my feet. But I was just, again, happy to see a couple that felt like it was matched with intention versus being matched for a personality. The next couple is Eve and Charlie.
Yeah.
Charlie.
Oh God.
Oh God, yeah. Now we are moving to the goofy part of the segment.
Eve is the Irish one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Eve. So we come in with Charlie more so than Eve. Like, Eve was married. I think she said she was married before.
She was engaged.
Yeah,
I think
she was engaged before to a man. That fell through. She then realised that, well, she maybe realised before then that she was lesbian. She now is out.
She came out when she was 26. She's 31 now.
Yeah. I think they both later in life. They both came out later in life.
Yeah.
And now she's, living her life as a lesbian.
Yeah.
And the first sort of red flag that we get about the couple is Claire saying, I fall in love like after 10 minutes. She's like, I know, the stereotype is that lesbians be like moving in together after a day, married after a week, divorced a week after, like we just do stuff really quickly, but I do tend to fall quite easily. But the thing that I aligned with her on is her abandonment issues. Like, oh yeah, my dad walked out when I was 10 and never spoke to me again, and I found myself thinking, why would he do that? And why wasn't I good enough for him? And I was like, uh-oh. That's not a good recipe for... I'm not trying to sit here and say people with issues can't fall in love and be happy. You absolutely can. I think the problem with this show sometimes is that because they're matching you sometimes on like, you're both lesbians and that's it, they can sometimes set you up with someone, or because they're trying to set you up for a storyline, set you up with someone who's just there to trigger your exact pressure point. Yeah. And so the first time they meet, it's fireworks. Claire is exactly who Eve was asking for. Charlie. Yeah. Eve is exactly who Charlie was asking for. Charlie is exactly who Eve was asking for. Like, they look good together. Reception's great. They're smooching. They have sex on the first night. They go on the honeymoon, and then Eve essentially at the beginning, I was with her. This is again the power of good editing. Yeah. She was like, we're moving quite fast. I think I would like some space to just try and get my head together, make sure I'm in this this is going at the pace and the direction that I like. And Charlie's like, sure, yeah. Mm-hmm. And then Eve basically just doesn't come back.
Yeah.
And reasonably or reasonably, Charlie brings it up. Maybe unreasonably is the way that she brings it up, but we don't see that part, right? We just see that Charlie says, you walked off and you left me, and he's like, yeah, why did I leave you? Because she started shouting at me, and she was like, because you left. Like, how do you think that made me feel? And then Eve's like, I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
And gets up and leaves. And that becomes a pattern with this couple. However, then you'll be hearing, then the next day, Eve didn't sleep in our bedroom, but we had sex. So you've come back. For a person who has abandonment issues, you come back, you've had sex with me, and then you've left.
Which messes up.
And then you're
mind.
surprised that I'm bringing it up the next time I see. Basically, what Eve would have liked is to spend every night on her own.
Yeah.
And then come and see Charlie, and Charlie be just excited to see her, and not mention the fact that she is refusing to spend the night with her. She won't let, like, she's like to Charlie, you're disrespectful when you speak to me, you're shouting to me, I'm shouting at me, I'm not going to have that. Okay. The last night, Charlie says, I'm not going to raise my voice. I'm just going to say to you, it would have been nice to spend the night together because it's our honeymoon. And he's like, oh, you're doing it again. This time, Eve is raising her voice. So I was like, you are the one shouting, saying, I'm not going to sit here and be shouted at. Charlie's not shouting. She's literally just telling you about yourself, and you don't want to hear it. Gets up again, walks off. At this point, Charlie's like, oh, fuck this, I'm not doing it anymore. Takes her ring off, throws it in the sea. Very dramatic. I was
it's so dramatic.
I genuinely thought, maybe we won't see these two.
Same.
Because you've had a fight every night.
And then, yeah. But also, one thing that annoyed me in that moment, in that argument, is because, you're right, Charlie was like, I'm gonna, like, really monitor and moderate my tone and my volume so it doesn't come across like I'm shouting. And Eve was like, stop shouting. And I'm like, the girl wasn't shouting. And it made me now question, in the previous times, was Charlie shouting or was she being assertive?
Well, she said at one point, again, we didn't see this, I think it would have been helpful to see this. She said at one point, maybe I think after they had sex, the time that they had sex and then Eve left, he was like, why did I leave? Because you were banging the door down, following me banging the door down. And she was like, and why was I knocking at the door? Because you just got up and you left and you never told me. And so it's like, you know, from one perspective, if I'm trying to get away from you and you're banging on the door trying to get to me, I'm scared, I'm terrified, you're crazy. If I'm the person who's like, we just had sex and you got up without a word and walked out, I don't know if you're okay, if something's happened, if you're mad at me. So I've come out and I'm knocking on the door to speak to you and you're telling me I'm crazy. Like, that's mad. But I will say one thing about Charlie, even though in that specific situation her voice was moderate, she is emotionally manipulative in the way that she speaks. Like, the way that she knew what she was doing when she was saying stuff like, oh, well, I'll just sit by myself like I have every night this week. Like, you know what you're doing. You know what you're doing when you say something like that. But am I supposed to just eat my sausage after that? No. I'm gonna say, here we go again. And you're like, oh, I'm not allowed to speak. In this house, I'm not even allowed to open my mouth. Like, all of those, like,
pettiness is high.
It's big, like, it's very specific language that tends to incite a reaction out of people, because now you're turning this into a much bigger thing than it needs to be for me on my end, if I'm Eve, right? Who is basically like, I don't understand why I'm in trouble. She's crying, she's walking off. I was like, I don't sit here for you two, because you are the most avoidant person on the planet, and you are the person who needs, you're clingy as fuck. But you're clingy because you're scared that you're going to lose that person, and the other person then finds you suffocating and leaves. Like, you are playing out the pattern.
When I heard a commentary about this couple, and they described Charlie as anxious attachment, having an anxious attachment style, and Eve having an avoidant dismissal style, which made it like, okay, so this one, neither one of them are secure in their attachment, in this relationship in general, and two, putting this pairing together can only lead to one person being super clingy or coming across as super clingy, and one person going no, and that is a recipe for disaster.
But you're also okay,
and the experts knew this. They knew that this girl falls in love quickly.
Don't know. You know that.
Yeah.
But you don't know the extent to which that thing shows up, right?
You're sure.
Loads of people are like, I fall in love quickly. Meaning they fall in love after 8 weeks.
True.
You could also say you fall in love quickly. I mean, one day, we're banking on the fact that, like, yes, she doesn't take long to fall in love. You take too long to fall in love. That'll be a conflict. But they can't guarantee that it's going to be this is very specific. Like, I've never seen someone be avoidant in the way that Eve is avoidant. Like, I remove myself from situations that I feel like, okay, I'm starting to get hot. I feel like this is going left. But the minute the person opens their mouth, being like, bye,
Yeah.
bye, and therefore creating a situation in which you can never be criticised ever, otherwise you're being attacked. Like that is something that's.
It was giving me Karen when she was like, "Stop, don't shout." I'm like,
yeah, she's not shouting.
Karen.
You're basically saying to her, I don't care. I don't want to hear what you've got to say ever, even if you're not shouting. I don't want to hear it.
Basically, you know what we were talking about earlier about some. Oh, maybe this is off pod. Like some men don't like women and they behave in a certain way. Like I don't like. She don't like you. Eve don't like Claire. Eve
I don't
like
think
Charlie.
it's no. I actually don't. I don't even think it's that. I think it's that Eve doesn't like to be criticised. I don't think it's that she doesn't like Charlie. I think that she likes Charlie. I think the part of her that's a little bit more secure likes Charlie. The part of her that's insecure.
She has a physical part.
Yeah. The part of her that's insecure doesn't like anyone. Yeah. I don't think anyone could have sat there and said, "Hey, yesterday the way you spoke to me," she would have reacted the exact same way. Yeah. So I don't think it's that she doesn't like Charlie. I just think she has created a very specific situation in which she thrives in, which involves not having anybody tell her that there's anything wrong with that. And I'm sure as this process goes on, we're going to find out that she's been in a relationship where that has been the case, and now she's gone balls to the wall in the other direction. If you so much as even try and tell me I've done something wrong, you're controlling me, you're suffocating me, I need to get out of here. Like, it's a personal issue, and you can see it in the fact that, like, they're having two different conversations. You are having a conversation with someone who cannot hear you, and you are also having a conversation with someone who can't hear you. You have your own personal issues, right? Yeah. That it is possible for you to deal with those personal issues and also have a healthy relationship. I do think it's possible, because I'm not going to sit here and say, if you have abandonment issues, again, against your will, because of your life experience, that's it for you. You can never find love. That's not true. No. But you do need self-awareness. And I feel like for someone like Charlie, she's like, here are two separate facts. I have abandonment issues. I fall in love really easily. Yeah. These two things are not related. When actually
they're interlinked.
You can't, like, you have to examine the fall in love thing really easily, because what has this girl given you other than to fight every single night? Be for real. You like how she looks, you like it when things are good, but equally there are lots of things that are not good. So instead of you just saying I'm in love with the girl, pause
and just be like, I want to see if this can go somewhere, and I'm ready and I'm willing to do the work. And they kind of had that kind of conversation when they returned back to London, and Eve comes back and says, you know, I'm still going to stay in a separate apartment, but I'm willing to do the work. Now, when I watched that part, I was like, are we having this conversation because we're going to the dinner party and everyone's going to be there and, you know, it's about saving face? Or is this a real, genuine, like, plea and, like, last resort of, like, we want to keep on doing the work? Because what Eve said after Charlie and Eve chat, they apologise to each other about everything that happened over the honeymoon, and Eve says, like, I've forgiven her, like, I'm just wiping the slate clean and forgetting everything that happened, unless she does it again.
But that is a perfect example of how she thinks things should be dealt with.
Yeah,
like, that's why she got so wound up whenever in the morning after she had abandoned Charlie, Charlie would bring it up. She was like, why are you bringing this up for? That was yesterday.
Yeah.
She's just like, you don't have to, when you feel a negative emotion, when you have a bad experience, you don't have to deal with it. Yeah. Go off by yourself, cry in your room in the morning. It's a new day. Yeah. It's a new day. I don't want to hear anything about it. Which is, does that even make sense? How are you supposed to grow and learn as a person if you keep deleting everything?
Literally, like, what do you mean? That never happened. And then you get people going, that never happened. Lying, because you suppress something that actually has happened, but you've never addressed the issue and the impact it's had on you.
Yeah, why are you even bringing that up? Because it's relevant. It's relevant. So you haven't got in this situation by mistake or be falling into it. This has been a pattern of behaviour, so you have to be able to look back across all the days that have come before and across the relationships that have come before to ask yourself, okay, but why do I keep finding myself in situations where I'm dating all these women who are horrible? It's like, maybe it's not them. Maybe they are genuinely just trying to give you feedback about the way that you show up as a partner, which is not great.
Yeah.
She also then tells almost anyone that will listen at the dinner party that they fought and that Charlie was the aggressor in the arguments, which I found a bit like, I don't know if we needed all that.
No.
Because nobody else is coming forward with all the fights that they've had. It's just you telling
I think
every girl.
Yeah, and also it's the whole idea of like putting the blame on Charlie and not taking accountability for what you did in that.
Yeah, she's trying to get ahead of it. I'm just in case Charlie comes in, tries to tell you a story. This is what the story is. So I never did anything wrong.
So nothing is forgiven then.
It's not. I don't think. Yeah, it's not forgiven. How can you forgive it if you're not acknowledging it? It's not forgiven. No. You've just decided it never happened. Cut to you telling everybody that it happened.
Yeah.
If you really wanted to bury it, let's just say we're going to this party
and let's move on.
We're not going to talk about it.
But yeah, I'm not excited to see this couple.
Meanwhile, Charlie is telling people, "I miss her so much. I'm so glad to see her. I love her so much."
And the experts already identified. They have two different portrayals of what happened in their relationship or what is going on, and I think that's going to come to light very, very, very soon. And it's going to unravel.
Just two people speaking two different languages.
100%. So, and then what's going to end up happening is that Eve will want to leave. Every time she's going to write leave on her paper, Charlie's going to be like, "No, I'm willing to fight. The anxious attachment, like, no, I'm going to fight. 100%. And they will drag this couple on for the next 5 weeks. Please get us out of our misery. And two, if the experts want to come in and help, that's fine. But I don't think neither one of them should be married at first sight. They should have both been in therapy. That's just my personal opinion.
Everyone in here needs therapy.
I mean, everyone does, but this couple wasn't the match. The next one is Holly and Alex. Holly is a 29-year-old beautician. She has 2 kids. She is from Huddersfield. She had an emotionally abusive relationship with her kid's father. And she had a child when she was young. I think she was 16 when she had her first child. And that's really has impacted her life. But it's also just going through that relationship has made her very mindful of the type of relationship she wants to be and the father figure that she wants to introduce to her kids. And then comes...
they do have a dad.
They do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then comes Alex, who is a RAF flyer? Who knows? Sorry, let me check. Alex is 28. Everyone online was like,
"Oh yes,
he's a hard 28."
That man is not 28.
He doesn't.
That man is not 28. He's not 28.
He's not.
He's not. He's lying.
Absolutely. So he's, according to the show, he's 28.
38.
He's at aviation operations.
28. Why fucking?
Sorry, he is in aviation operations, based in Birmingham. He describes himself as a man about town. He's keen to find a stable relationship. He has a very strong relationship with his mum, who is a single mum. I don't know why I say that.
Why did you say that?
I have no idea. Well, I think it's because it was kind of like when they were doing the matches, they were like, "Oh, she's a single mum, and Alex has a really great relationship with his mum." You know why? Because he made mention about it, like he's not been around. Anyway, and he's looking for someone who has depth and will keep him on his toes. He describes himself as a fighter, not a lover, because you have to fight for this love. And I'm telling you,
is that Cheryl Cole?
Yeah. You know what? I think I heard someone else talk about it on TikTok, going like Cheryl Cole, I have to fight for this love. Guys, why are you fighting so hard for love? Maybe I'm
fight for love.
Fighting, maybe I'm naive.
You're fighting the person you love. That's different.
Yeah.
Fighting for love to me is, we're going through hard times. All of our gut, like all of our triggers are telling us run.
Yeah.
But really, if we just stick it out, if we fight for what we've got, we'll make it out the other side and we'll have this beautiful thing. That's fighting for love to me. Fighting the person that you love doesn't really make sense to me.
Yeah. And Alex, they show him boxing, and I'll be honest, and I said this to Marnie off pod. As soon as I saw him, I got red flags. To me, some of the parts of his personality came through in the show as potential red flags, particularly in how he managed conflict with Holly. But we will find out more when after they get married. But the way that they describe them as a match is like, this is a couple that they're gonna blend really well together because they have really similar values. Alex has such a strong relationship with his mum and really values her, and Holly is a mum. Now, then they meet at the aisle, And this was quite funny because when Holly was walking down the aisle, I think it was his grandmom or his aunt was there like clapping already, going, yes, she's the one. She's exactly his type. Blah, blah, blah. And you could tell from the wedding that they had a really strong connection. Did you remember seeing that?
I do remember seeing the family being really, really excited, which now I'm thinking about it.
Like, uber excited.
Bit weird, isn't it?
It was so weird. But, like, they were like, she's the one, she's definitely his type, she's going to fit so well with the family. During the wedding, you could tell, like, they had a really great connection. There was that sexual chemistry, because he said, he wanted someone who's curvy, dark hair, big lips, big bum. I was like, she probably has a big bum. Her lips look fake, but, like, whatever, you go, girl. And sorry, I just don't know why I'm being so shady.
To be honest, if she's exactly his type, then she's exactly his type.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Let's be all the way for real.
We'll be for real.
For his granny to say, this is exactly what he's looking for, he got exactly what he was looking for.
Exactly. So that seemed all well and good, but one thing she hadn't yet told him until they get to the reception is that she had 2 children. And one of the things that he had mentioned to the experts, which he came to life, is that his preference was to be with a partner who didn't have children. Now, he had told I think Holly's friend that, and Holly's friend then relayed that to Holly.
Yeah, but specifically because he doesn't have a paternal bone in his body.
Yes.
How would you know that?
Yeah.
How would you know that, though?
It's also I think it's quite a basic thought that because you don't have children, you don't have a paternal bone in your body. When no one is paternal until no one is a father until they have children.
Yeah, how does he think? When does he think he'll be able to have a kid? Then he'll just one day he'll wake up and he'll be paternal, and that's when he can do it.
It just felt like a very basic and very broad generalization to be like, well, because I don't have children, I can't be paternal.
Yeah, because that's not why he said he didn't want with kids.
No, come on, be for real.
So now that he's seen and he likes her, as he's going to keep mentioning later on, he's trying to find a way to spin it in a way that won't put her off.
Yeah.
But also isn't just a barefaced lie. So he goes with, I just didn't want kids because I didn't know if I was paternal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Work. So,
literally.
Yeah. So they go on their honeymoon.
Also, I never said, come and collect my children today.
Yeah.
She literally says later on, I need to be like, the way I see this working is you're going to get to see me 3 nights a week.
Yeah.
So that is her saying, I'm locking off Mum Holly and wife Holly. They would be 2 separate people.
Until we are in a space where I feel comfortable with you, and then you can see me all 7 days of the week.
Yeah, so you're jumping, with my children. You've jumped several steps to now you've got to breastfeed my son. Like, where are you? What are you on? Chill out.
Yeah. So
but he doesn't have no kids, so how would he know?
Yeah, because he doesn't have a paternal bone in his body.
He doesn't.
But then we move to the honeymoon, and that is where their first conflicts arise.
He's sleeping.
Yeah, because
he slept on the plane.
Yeah. They
get to the place now. She wants to explore the hotel, or just before they go.
Yeah.
Up, and he's like, I'm tired. He's basically, I feel like probably being a bit snappy because he's tired, which we've all been there. But when she mentions it to him, he's like, oh my God, have you never heard of someone being tired? Why are you bringing this up still? I don't know how people who... It's interesting, right? Because earlier we were talking about arguing with our siblings. And because they're our siblings and we know they're not going anywhere, that's why we develop those really bad habits about the way that you argue. I can't imagine being an adult, speaking to another adult, and genuinely being like, my first response to what you said, right, is already, fuck off with this, basically.
Yeah, it's really on 100.
I'm annoyed. And it always comes back to this thing of like, you haven't learned how to receive criticism. And that criticism doesn't mean the person hates you. And so you spend all your time, the minute anyone says anything that you don't like, get ready to fight. She said it would have been nice to spend the thing with you. Why am I not allowed to say how I feel? And that becomes a theme between the two of them. Somehow they managed to resolve this. She was in an abusive relationship. That's why she doesn't like the raised voices, because they started swearing at each other. She told him to fuck off. He told her to fuck her off, whatever.
Mind you, this is day 2. Or day 3 potentially.
She starts crying. He comes over. He hugs her. She's like, "Wow, love the way we resolved that." Okay.
Yeah.
The rest of the honeymoon, plain sailing. They have sex. They go on the boat. They just, wow, we're so happy. You make me so happy. Can't wait to spend the rest of my life with you. Get to the dinner party, and old Alex, I think, has forgotten that he made a bit of a tit of himself at the stag do when he was like, if I don't like my wife, yeah, and there's someone else I'm feeling, I'm gonna pursue it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have a problem with the wife swapping. If there is somebody in the group who I have a connection with, I'm gonna pursue it. Him and Charlie at the time went back and forth for a bit about it, and it kind of resolved in a weird way. And
because also that should have been a red flag in itself. The way that even he was speaking to Charlie, which was wow, it's the exact same it was the exact same way he spoke to Holly, and then also to the other ladies.
And
as
what
well.
I find really interesting about people who do that, like especially men who speak like that to women, they're always people who are like, listen, I don't mince my words. Yeah. I say it like it is. I play it straight.
I'm real.
It's the same thing as when people are like, listen, I'm blunt. It's like, no, you're a cunt.
Yeah.
That's what you are. You're being a cunt right now. There is a difference between being honest and speaking plainly and deliberately, like trying to fight women.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to do all of that. So, yeah. He's fought Charlie at the stag do. It comes up at this dinner party. Everybody has heard this, right? Apart from Holly.
It's ironic. Even the husband told the wives, but you didn't have the audacity to be like,
everybody has been discussing.
This is something that I said out of this. Even if he said boys being boys, even though I hate that saying because it's usually used as like cover up, but even if he said, look, this is something I said. I made a mistake. I've met you, I like you, I want this relationship with you. I just want you to know that because it may come up in the dinner party and I want you to be aware. But I just want you to know we're all good. Because he kept on saying in the lead up to the dinner party, we're all good, we're great. I just love where we are in our relationship. We just see eye to eye. We're just on the same page. But he forgot to mention that this may potentially come up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Holly is reasonably upset because... what the hell?
Yeah.
Like, we've only just got into a relationship with each other. So to hear that you'd be willing to jump ship does not fill me with great hope, right? Yeah. Okay, she doesn't say it as eloquent as emotionlessly as I said it just then. But she does basically say, what's this about you saying that? What does that mean? Yeah. Like, I don't like that. It's making me nervous. And he's like, oh my God, why are you bringing this up? I said if I didn't like my wife, I would wife swap. But I do like you. So why is this a thing? And she's like, yeah, but do you not understand how, like, that might make me feel? And he's like, no, actually, because I said it was about if I didn't like. He just kept repeating this one line. It just reminded me of so many people that I've had, like, specifically men. Sorry to, like, malign men who are listening. Like, just stop being shit. But that the way that some, and I'm sure women do it too, so I don't know. But I'm just saying, in my experience, there are some men who, when you are trying to have a conversation where you're talking about how you feel, will harp on, like, one specific thing and be like, well, technically, I said this, and everything else is in your head. You're blowing this out of proportion, and, like, you're being deliberately obtuse. And as the experts say, you're listening, you're hearing, but you're not listening. You just want to be right in the situation. That's what you're more concerned with, and that is the issue. You're coming into this as a who's right, who's wrong, who's going to win this, rather than my partner is hurt. They are trying to communicate to me why they're hurt, and I need to take some time to process that. There's nothing wrong with saying, wow, I wasn't expecting you to be this upset about this. Thanks for bringing it to my attention. I don't want to, say anything now that might exacerbate this situation. So I'm going to take some time to process what you've said, how you're feeling, and then
come back.
We can talk about this. There's literally nothing wrong with saying that. Instead of people in that very moment be like, I never done nothing wrong in my life. That R. Kelly interview is basically,
I'm fighting for my life.
It's my kids. It's not a joke to me, man. This is my life. that is, I flew in on a helicopter. The
Oh my god.
it's that energy, but like,
Yeah.
you're not fighting for your life. This is
No.
a conversation about a thing that you actually did say.
Yeah, and rather than being just defensive, just listen, take accountability. Yeah, and he could have moved the conversation to be like, let's talk about this privately outside this dinner party. But then he then took the time to be like, well, the fact that she brought it to this dinner party right now is her
She
fault.
doesn't behave like this when we're at home.
No.
This is just her. I think she's just trying to become the centre of attention. Whatever he was trying to do.
And it goes because when he was talking to Austin, he was like, you know, this is her, it's her. And I was like, wow.
Like, I don't deal with drama personally. I don't deal with drama. Meanwhile, you brought it to the table and you're still talking about it.
You're the one who also said this in public. Remember, this started with you.
You were literally in the midst of drama.
You started said drama. No one talked about wife swapping, but you opened your mouth loud and said, I'm willing to wife swap.
And the only reason why it has come back around this dinner table again is because it was drama.
Yeah.
If it wasn't anything, people wouldn't have remembered it to bring it up.
But I think
everybody has been like, yes, I have heard that.
Yeah.
Actually.
Because you know why? I think it wouldn't have been anything, but it's the fact that he was going back and forth with Charlie.
Yeah, because she said, but that's not what the show's about. And he said, me personally, if I feel a connection. Okay, girl. So go on Love Island if that's what you want to do.
Fam.
And apparently you're young enough to get on there.
Yeah, but not with that face. Anyway, let's move on.
Now, let's do that.
Yes,
Anyway, they have a big
good
fight.
being good Christian girls today.
One last thing about Alex. So, him and Polly are having this beef throughout the meal.
Yeah.
He's giving her rude looks. He's telling everybody his version of events, as you do when you're the villain in a story.
Holly or Polly?
Holly,
yeah.
Polly is like, Holly's my girl. I'm not going to have this. I'm going to ask him, like, why does he say that? She goes over there. She's like, hi. Do you not think it was kind of a mad thing to say before you even met your wife? That you're willing to bin her off? And he's like, listen, if you're coming here to grill me, you could just jog on, basically. Don't even get on my face, because I'm not going to sit here. She's like, what? You're getting really defensive. He's like, yeah, and I'm not going to have it. Like, I'm not going to have it. Like, if you're going to listen, I'm not interested in talking to you. Get out of my face, basically. So, this is the thing. This is the difficult thing. I looked at the optics of that, and I was like, yeah, a table full of white people.
Yeah.
This white woman who's come over, again, it wasn't her business or her place to do that.
Oh, no, absolutely not.
Right? You can barely talk to your husband. Don't come and start trying to talk to mine.
Yeah.
But okay, in the spirit of girls back girls.
Yeah.
But then they're like, oh, you're getting so defensive. And he was getting defensive. I'm not trying to say that. But like, I'm also aware of the optics of like, as the only black person in the space, sometimes it probably does feel like you're being attacked.
Yeah.
Even when you're not being attacked, because you're just hyper aware of the fact that like all these people are going to band together and make me the villain. And I wonder if that is part of what's going on in his head. I'm not saying it is what is playing out in the room. I'm not trying to say that there was any racial elements to any of that conversation, but you can't ignore the setup is very familiar. To being like, I'm about to be the villain on this show.
Yeah, no.
Honestly, Polly's man was saying mad shit as well. That day even.
Yeah.
And he somehow
escaped free. I think it was.
Because he wouldn't drop it.
Yeah, I understand the optics. I think because of how Alex spoke to Holly and the fact that it was not resolved, and you know, they both have this thing where they're arguing in the heat, and maybe that's a good thing. You know, heat of stuff, you decide I'm going to just disperse and sit and calm and cool.
But they're not calming.
But they're not. But that's the problem. They're not. And then that you saw it at the honeymoon. They calmed. They were hot. They stepped away. She had to go back. She had to go to him and reconcile. This time there was no calming. And there was no reconciling.
Because really. There are people here now.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
There's no one else for me to be bouncing off against and getting more and more hot, getting more and more annoyed. Exactly. I'm just sat by myself. I need to... The mood, like the feeling will dissipate because I'm by myself.
But I think, perfectly honest, because he wasn't able to resolve it, or they didn't... Holly and him did not resolve it quietly or in a way that was away from people. People saw what was going on and everyone took Holly's side. And yes, it was not right. That was the case. It wasn't right at all. But... I don't know. I don't know how to put this, but
even that is what is adding, surely, I'm sure, to his defensiveness. He's a defensive person anyway, yeah. But having an argument with your partner in public is one thing. Having an argument with your partner in public and then everyone being like, she's right and you're wrong.
Yeah.
When you genuinely, and I think he genuinely does not understand why he was in the wrong.
Yeah.
So he was probably also like, now you guys are all like, I don't like, he genuinely, I think genuinely his hearts of hearts, like, that was totally unfair what happened to me. I don't think he is capable of, I don't think he has the emotional depth.
I know, 100% no.
Put the way that he feels to one side and actually hear someone out.
So, with Alex and Holly,
pack it up.
For me, it's an absolutely resounding never.
I don't think they'll work it. I think unlike Charlie and Eve, I have less hope for these two just because he's not 28. He has the resoluteness of a man in his 40s. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? That I'm not willing to concede.
I'm set in my ways.
It's given very much man who doesn't speak to his kids no more.
Yeah.
And is saying the phone works both ways, but the kids are 5. Like, what are you talking about?
Oh my gosh.
It's that energy, and I don't get how he can be 28 and have so much like resentment.
That's the thing. I really don't like the way he speaks to women. I don't like it at all. The only other thing I was
It's like Ella's that guy, Ty.
Yes!
I didn't I never liked that guy.
Yeah, he talks to girls as if they're boys.
You. Shush, man.
Yeah. Shut up, man. Shut up. No! Grow up, fam. As I say the exact same way that he did. I will say, after the show launched, a couple of bits of news came out around Alex. Firstly, he is part of the RAF, but he decided to leave his post and go AWOL for the show. So when he came back, he was put into
court-martialed,
military jail.
Yeah.
For a little bit. The second thing,
that is the dumbest thing.
It's goofy.
Maybe he is 28.
Yeah, but yeah.
Because that doesn't seem like a grown-up decision.
Yeah. The second thing is that there has been some alleged abuse allegations made against him. This has been raised by Women's Aid, the women's charity, to the production of Married at First Sight, because this is not the first season where there has been a contestant that has had alleged abuse allegations against them. So yeah, it's really sad to see this, and there's been no main comments from Channel 4 or Married at First Sight or from Alex around this, but we just have to wait and see what the outcome of the relationship with Holly and Alex. And I think they are also example of how to not manage conflict in a relationship, and why you do need to have emotional intelligence with your partner. And yeah, we just have to wait and see. The next couple is Rochelle and Orson. So Rochelle is 48. She is a really successful career woman. She is also stunning, and she was really hopeful for the experts to find someone who's funny and fit. She's ideally wants a Caribbean man, and she's the oldest person in the experiment. But I thought it was actually really great to see a contestant above the age of 40, because we really do. I'm really sorry, we really do in reality dating. She was matched with Orson, who is a 41-year-old. Yeah, he's 41 project engineer. He is from Set Kitts and Nevis. He's been in the UK for I think over 2 decades. And he has had many different careers. So he came, I think, for a cricket scholarship. Correct me if I'm wrong. Cricket scholarship. He had stints as a model, as an actor, and now he's doing a job that he really loves in project engineering. And when they first met at the wedding, they both just instantly clicked. It felt like this is going to be a really fun, mature Caribbean couple who just like connect on like their heritage, connect on their backgrounds, on their wants and their needs in the relationship. And I was just really happy to see them connect, and I think all the people and all the guests were really happy to see them. And they also look so beautiful together. However, during the photos, which normally happen after the wedding, we start to see some small cracks or just more elements of Rochelle's personality. So it first started where she was asking him a whole bunch of questions. Awesome things like, where are you from? What do you do? You know, how, of course the general questions, but it felt like it was almost like a question a minute. And it was a bit overwhelming for Orson. And he was like, whoa, you know, she's asking loads and loads of questions as if she's trying to vet him. And it was even to the point where the photographer was telling her, like, yeah, you kind of have to stop talking so that we can take the photos. So that happened at the beginning, and he, you know, eventually spoke to her at the weddings, just saying like, "Well, the questions were quite a lot, and you know, she can slow down, and we just need to get to know each other." And that's, you know, that's what this partnership is. Of course, everything is expedited because they're all married at first sight, but it felt like Orson was trying to kind of calm potential nerves that Rochelle had. Then we move on to the honeymoon, and this is where things get a bit more, I would say a bit more weird in terms of their relationship. He also talks about in his confessional and also at the honeymoon that he was cheated on. I think he was married. I don't know if he's got kids.
Was he married?
Or was he in a long-term relationship? Yeah. And that partner cheated on him. I don't think he's got kids. No, okay. That partner cheated on him. And that happened 5 years ago. He told that once to Rochelle. And then the next day, you know, he tells that story to her again. And then her response in confessionals were like, look, you were cheated 5 years ago. Pretty much get over it. Which felt so cold. Yeah. So blunt. And it was as if she was over it. She was over him. She also didn't like the idea that he was an actor. So she was questioning whether he was genuine. And he had told her that he was starting to get the feels, and they were like several days into their honeymoon, and she was just like, whoa, this is too much. Is he trying to do this for a bit? Is he trying to do this because he was an actor and he knows this is on a TV show? And it really, you could tell that Rochelle was spooked to the point where she decides, I can't do this, I'm going to leave. She does reveal at one point that she had been hurt in the past. But this was after like a few days that she had been hurt, and she said that she's been effed over like for the past 2 years. So we're assuming through relationships. But I found her demeanor. Well, I've told the other girls to stand up. I feel that she stood up too quickly because I actually liked Orson. I felt like he felt relatively genuine, and maybe because I'm adding the age aspect to it, because he's a little bit more older than the other contestants, like Alex, for instance. He felt like he was here for the right reasons. Of course, we don't know what everyone's intentions are. And I think with more time, had he been an actor, had he not been genuine, that would have come to life. But because Rochelle wrote it off so quickly, she left. And she didn't even attend the dinner party. Now, we don't know if she's going to attend the couch session with the experts. But I felt like everything was rushed and was quite harsh, and maybe she got cold feet and maybe she just didn't want to be part of the experiment. But it's just a shame that Orson has been pretty much abandoned, and I don't know how they're going to come back from it. But yeah, what did you think about Rochelle?
There's a lot about Rochelle that I recognised.
Same.
I also was starting to find Orson to be a bit overbearing.
Really?
Yeah, like the feels thing was weird. Like, I can understand being like, oh, I think I could see myself falling for you.
Yeah.
But to be like, I'm already fell for you. When you're a person who has said, I've not dated for 8 years, I'm focused on my daughter, like, I've deliberately, like, separated myself from this, like, that's not really what you want to hear, jumping back into that thing, you know. I think it would have been easier for her to be eased into that. I think the other thing that she mentions is that, like, you haven't asked me anything about myself, but then you're saying you've got feelings for me, which is that it's entirely possible that what he means is, I think you're hot and I want to jump your bones. But that's what you said. You said you had feels for me, so now I'm sitting here being like, based off of what?
Okay.
So, like, I think that, then the stuff about the acting, which, you know, is a bit of a stretch, but on this show, yeah, it would make me nervous as well, if I'm being completely honest. Like, if I met an actual real person and they were an actor, I wouldn't be like, you're a liar. But on this show, yeah. Do I think she should have just left without saying anything? No. Do I think she did that because she started, yes, she was overwhelmed and actually started to realise that this process was about matching her and setting her on the path to be in a relationship, even though she hasn't been in a relationship for 8 years, and that's fucking scary? Yes. Yeah. Like, I think that is what she's scared of more so. I think also about her life changing in any way.
Yeah.
Again, much like with everybody on here, when there is a problem in the relationship, it's usually just a problem with one person. Like,
yeah.
And that problem, it cannot be like, what can Orson do about the fact that you're scared about being in a relationship when he is the thing that you're scared of? There is nothing he could do. I found him. Sorry. One other thing I'll say about him, I found him at the dinner party like egging on Alex, kind of annoying actually.
Yeah.
Like what? Sorry. What position do you have to be giving advice to people? Your wife's not here. Your wife isn't here. Like, this is not like you're giving him just regular relationship advice. This is an experiment, a very specific experiment. You have not even made it to the dinner party. Why are you giving me advice about how I should deal with my thing? So honestly, it was kind of giving like, I think you should go up to Holly and like slap her, just so that he could be like, yeah, I'm not the only person who's not in a relationship. A little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, he is actually like he doesn't do anything aside from the whole catching feels, having not asked her any questions, that would warrant actual runaway and you're in danger. Like, he's not on the same level as like Alex, say.
Oh, no.
So yeah, I do think she just scared herself.
True. And it's hard because there was definitely aspects of Rochelle that I identified with also at the beginning, where I was like, wow, she's someone that really has probably prioritized her career over her love life for a very long time. And yes, there's a comfort in knowing, there's a comfort in being so single and being so like, I have all my stuff together, that relationships like is not on the top of my list, and now I want to delve into this experiment because, you know, you kind of wash your hands off the process. Like, these experts are going to do it for you. But the fact that she ran away so quickly, it made me feel like either one, she's probably scared of the change, because it is a change. Like, you're gonna have someone in your space, you're gonna be in this partnership. And I noticed with her, with Eve, with so many others, even some of the guys, everyone wants to just get space. Casper, they all want space. But you're in an experiment where you're in a partnership with someone where you don't have space. And there's a lot of, I think, especially these guys have all been, like, all these contestants, they've been single for long periods of time, that they've probably got used to what happens when you are single, where you don't have people in your space, where you can control if you're going to leave the house, or if you're going to have a breather here, or if you're going to do X, Y, and Z. Like, now it's changed. You have this person you're accountable to, and you're accountable for. But maybe in the case of Rochelle, she's like, this is too much for me. And maybe there's an element of trust. Like, I don't know if I trust the process. I don't know if I trust this man. And the easiest thing was, I'm going to just dip. And I think that's why I kind of related to, like, well, if this is not something that I feel comfortable with, I'm just going to, like, just use logic and get out of here.
But how are you going to get over this hurdle, like this fear hurdle?
Yeah.
If in the back of your mind you always know, well, I'll just go.
Yeah.
I'll just go. And then you can just tell yourself, oh, the problem was them. I just need to find a person who's absolutely perfect and is not going to bother me in any way, so that I feel triggered and want to leave. There's nobody that exists like that apart from yourself.
And you're not perfect. No one's perfect.
No, you're not. So that means that, like, even if you meet the best person in the world, at some point they might do something that they surely just wouldn't know, because they've only just got to know you, would bother you. And you need to have the resilience. And I feel like it's funny because that's what she was saying about him not having enough emotional resilience to go, I want to run right now, but I'm not going to, because I don't think you're trying to hurt me.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes that's the hard thing about trauma or any sort of anxious attachment style, is you don't know. No, avoidant attachment style is you don't know whether someone's trying to hurt you or not. You just go, I'm not going to risk it. So then you just remove yourself from the situation. And, like, I actually don't think people are. I think it's less often than you think that people are actively trying to hurt you.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's your Trump.
Yeah. So I mean, I really do hope that Rochelle does come back, but her disappearing for this opening part of the process is going to impact the relationship if she does decide to come back. But I think they are actually a really interesting match, and I would love to see their relationship develop. But we just have to wait and see.
Who's next?
Next is Holly and Adam.
Adam is under the impression that he is the fittest man that ever existed, and therefore he deserves a petite brunette who is 10 out of 10 to die for.
Who's like Michelle Keegan or Megan Fox? Just keep that in mind.
Knock you off your feet. When he said Michelle Keegan, I literally was just like, okay, have you seen her husband?
Exactly. When I'm
not even saying that I think Mark Wright is hot, but like, do you think you're as hot as Mark Wright?
Come on.
Because...
Come on. When he said Megan Fox, I thought of Love is Blind. And Megan Fox is catching strays in all these dating shows. Megan Fox is a pinnacle.
Megan Fox, yeah. I wonder how she feels about the fact that, like, when people talk about the hottest person, they're just mentioning her.
I mean, maybe she'll find flattering.
I don't know.
Especially when you look at the recipient, who's actually calling me like,
their
type.
Leave me out of it sometimes. There are other, also, I would hate for it to be like, there are so many gorgeous people in the world. Like, why did my name come up so much?
Yeah.
Please, I'm just a normal person. Anyway, yeah. I think it's supposed to match him with Polly, who has ADHD, had a really tough time at school, is finally in a place in her life where she's happy. She is tallish.
Yeah.
Pale skin, red hair, which I think great combo actually.
So beautiful. Why do black people appreciate redheads more than white people?
White people hate anything that's cool. They're like, oh, it's not fair that you've got red hair. That's why they do that. I don't know.
I literally hear black people appreciate and praise red hair
there
so
is literally nothing like more special than having red. Like, it's a rarity to have red hair. Like, it's cool as hell.
I never knew that being ginger was anything negative until like I saw it in the media, but usually like English media and how they see gingers. It just never made any sense to me. It still doesn't now.
Yeah, we have a ginger convention.
Really?
Yeah.
That's actually very cute.
Anyway, sorry. Now I'm just thinking about red hair people.
Yeah.
She comes down the aisle. He's like, oh, I'm not feeling the sensation.
I don't know if I want to rip her clothes off.
I don't know if I want to rip her clothes off. Tells his friend, don't know if I want to rip her clothes off. His friend's like, personality-wise, though, she's a perfect match for you. He's like, is she? I guess. Meanwhile, his VT was like, I just wish I could meet a girl with a personality. Every day I meet a hot petite girl who's just a bag of chips, basically. I want to meet a girl with a personality matches. They're like, here's a girl with a personality matches. He's like, I want my hot brunette.
Yeah.
Anyway. She, however, is like, oh, he's exactly what I asked for. Tanned, white teeth, tattoos. Sure.
Girl.
Sure. She's like, does he like me? Does he like me? Does he like me? Does he like me? So her friend asks him, do you like her? He goes, she's not my usual type. I like petite brunettes. The friend goes back to her and says, he likes petite brunettes. She's crying at the wedding. I mean, she's like, I just really want him to like me. Again, examine it. That phrase, I just really want him to like me, is not actually the pinnacle of what today is about.
100%.
And also, do you like him?
Yes, that's the thing. I don't think I got her feeling towards him at all during the wedding.
No, because the game, the minute you don't want me, the game becomes, I must make myself someone that you want.
Yeah. Because also the friend was like, I noticed he hasn't complimented you. I noticed he hasn't complimented you.
It doesn't matter.
It really doesn't.
Basically, the way that you feel about the situation does not matter. The point is to win the game, and the game is to get him to fall in love with you. That's the game. So, weirdly, I cannot wait for them to talk about this on the couch. They have sex that first night.
Yeah.
And then she's like, on the honeymoon, he hasn't touched me since. To the point where, when she says he hasn't touched me, he literally won't even kiss her on the cheek. Right? They their honeymoon sucked ass, to be
Oh,
fair.
it's so bad.
They're in like
Trentino? Is it
yeah,
Italy?
like yeah, that, but like the Alps of Italy, basically, blah, blah, blah. The Alps in this. Oh my god, the Alps in Italy, basically, and he's scared of horses. They've got wearing these snowsuits everywhere. It's not very flattering anyway.
And it's cold.
It's freezing cold. She gives him a massage at one point in a bikini. Yeah. Don't know why you would be in the bikini to give the massage, but she is.
Yeah, because she's like, next steps.
I'm trying to seduce him.
Yeah.
It's gonna be hot. I'm gonna be giving him a massage. It's the best massage of his life. He's like, have you even started the massage?
That was shady. He was being really shady.
He don't like you.
He doesn't at all.
And the problem is, this is my issue. It's actually okay to not be like initially attracted to someone. It's the fact that he's not attracted to you and therefore he doesn't like you as a person. That is the problem. Because that means you're saying, women only have value to me if they're people I want to have sex with. If not, I don't think they're deserving of my respect or attention or care. I
don't even know if he sees her as a friend. Like, the thing with Casper, he said, sorry to jump back to another couple, but at the wedding, the thing he told his sibling, his sister, was, even if anything happens, or even if nothing happens, we'll still be friends. When he was talking about Emma, which, again...
Based on what?
It was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. But this guy, he doesn't even sound like he wants to be friends with this girl.
No. He doesn't. He's like, her personality's great. She seems like a good person.
Sure.
But I don't like her. Anyway, at the end of the honeymoon, she like kind of brings up to him that they haven't had a kiss or anything. And he's like, yeah, still don't really... I'm not feeling it, but I could get there. So it's just some half-assed response. And then he's like, you are a nice girl. And she starts to cry because she's like, oh my God, that's the nicest thing anyone's ever said to me since I've been in a like bizarro. And that's when I was like, oh, so the bar is in the toilet.
Oh yeah.
And this guy is gonna he's getting a pat on the back for saying you're nice.
And he's like, well, I can give you a kiss on the cheek.
Yeah, and then he gives her a kiss on the cheek and then she's gassed, honey.
Jesus.
She's like, oh my God, we gave me a kiss on the cheek. Now jump to the bloody dinner party. They come in and the experts say, she's clinging to his arm. He isn't even, his arm is straight. He's like, as if he's hoping people won't notice that they come in together. Like, he hates her. He hates her. She looks so pretty. She looks so good. He barely look at her. As soon as he walked in there, he's like, yeah, I've seen that brunette. I've seen a couple brunettes with fat asses. That's what I like. He's staring at these girls. So now Polly's being like, I've got to go talk to all these girls and like basically warn them off my man. Which again, you're taking your fight to the wrong person. I'm not the person that you need to worry about. He's the person you need to worry about. Anyway, later they're at the table talking about someone else. Oh, they're talking about the mixed race girlie and the guy and saying like, where are you at in terms of your feelings? Like 10 is I'm in love, 1 is I hate her. And then they turn it around to him and go, where are you at? And he's like, probably at 4. Because
the irony was that when they asked the other guy, Lacey and her partner, he didn't want to answer. He was kind of like basting the question around, like, I've only just known her for 2 weeks. But he was like,
I think he's lying because she said, I don't think she would have said he told me that he loved me last night if that wasn't true. Yeah.
But then,
he was like, oh, I love you.
But what's his name? Not Adam. What's Polly and
Alex?
Oh, Adam. No, Adam. Is it Adam?
It's Adam.
Oh yeah. So Adam was like, well, if you're not gonna answer, I am.
Yeah.
Is it 4? He was coming off his chest.
He wanted to make it clear to the group, I'm not happy.
Yeah.
I'm not happy with the decision I've made, right? Did not say it to old Polly. So now the girlies, because everybody was just in business, getting everyone's business now.
Oh yeah.
Run over to Polly and they're like, basically your man said that he cares about you, about a 4. So she gets upset, she goes off. She's telling the girls like, I'm a dickhead, which, maybe.
Yeah.
Sorry. And then he comes out and he's like, why are you upset? She's like, because you obviously said that thing about that the way you feel about her is a 4. He's like, no, I never said you're a 4. I said the way I feel about you is a 4.
Yeah, but
so,
come on.
Hey man, don't be upset. And actually, if you've got a problem, just come and tell me. Okay? Alright. See you later. That was the vibe of that. And she was like, do you know what? It is what it is. That is you. Again, this is what I'm talking about. You just accept. You, in that moment, why are you saying it is what it is?
Again, remember, please stand up.
It is what it is. And implies you don't have any agency in the situation and you have to stay with him. No, that's your insecurity talking. Get on. Because the man is not just saying that he don't like you, he's showing you that he don't like you.
100%.
This is very different to, like, again, declaring the Charlie and Eve situation where actually when things are good, you guys are all over each other, which, again, has its drawbacks. I'm not saying it's perfect, but at least you know that there is a spark between you. He said there ain't no spark, they're never gonna be a spark.
Oh no, because it's not like, oh, we can grow together. There's no growing together. I think you can probably grow to get to understand someone's personality, but attraction, I think for men, again, broad generalization, for some men, as has been known, once they meet a girl, they put them in a box. A friend, a woman that you want to smash and quit, and someone that you want to be in long term. And it's quite immediate. And I think when it comes to Polly, I then put her in friend zone or acquaintance.
I low-key don't think that's true.
You don't?
I don't think... I don't know if he... But I don't think that...
The box theory.
Yeah, I actually think men are much simpler creatures and will fuck anything.
I mean, so that was diabolical that he did mess around with her.
Yeah, I think they're like, honestly, if the opportunity poses itself to me, and it is a, again, not to be crass, but like a willing hole, I'm gonna put myself in it.
That's so crazy. It is crazy.
I honestly do think that. I don't like people like, oh, but you know, men, they know when they know. I think they're much simpler creatures than that. And when they want to do it, they can do it.
Yeah.
So, but like, maybe the crossover between what you're saying and what I'm saying is that when it comes to sex, attraction is not important to them.
But when it comes to like long-term relationship commitment, they're very clear of like where they put you and where they see you. But one thing I will say about Polly and why I shouted at the screen for her to also get up was because she knew at the wedding night, she knew the wedding day that he didn't.
That's why she sat with him, because she was like, I know, that will fix it.
I know, and that girl, stand up, because again, like from a third perspective, outside perspective, if someone has said you're not their type, your friend has actively told you like this guy ain't really complimenting you like that, rather than sleeping with him on the first night, why don't you try and get to know him, hear from his mouth him say you're not my type, and then make a decision from there.
The game, because this is just not the game.
I know.
The
it's so
is,
easy
I need to convince this man that I'm it.
I'm sorry,
don't need how I feel about the situation is irrelevant right now.
It's so loud in terms of pick me energy. It's so loud. It's actually annoying.
Well, like I said, that's what insecurity will do to you.
I know.
I actually think insecurity is a lot more dangerous thing than anything else. Like, yeah they will literally have you do things that make no logical sense.
I know.
You're right. It does not make logical sense for a man to tell you he's not attracted to you and then for you to hop into bed with him. But in the emotional sense, if I do the damn thing in this bed, guess what? He's going to be in love with me. Psych.
Yeah. It's true. Maybe if...
And then you're just throwing back... You're just throwing good money after bad for the rest of the relationship. You're just trying to get back to like... Oh, you're just probably start telling yourself that moment you both looked into each other's eyes and it was magical. The reality of it, in that moment, it probably wasn't that. No. But now you're building it into something. You're telling yourself, oh, if I could, I could get... Yeah, you're not actually hearing, again. Yeah, hear it. You're hearing what you're listening. This man is saying, I don't like you. And the reason why you can't hear it is because you then internalize it, right? And then you start to hate yourself when really, him not liking you says more about him than it does about you.
Yeah.
It's something going on in his head because he thinks he looks like Brad Pitt. That man's problems are different to yours. You can't take them on for him. You can't help that man. No. He thinks that he's Brad Pitt coming on here, telling him, trying to make you. And that's the problem with the girls will never. Apart, do you remember that one girl who was like, I'm not attracted to the guy that I'm with? She kept saying it.
Season. Yeah. Yes. Was it? Oh yes.
She was blonde.
Yes. It was, and then she eventually left. No, they left together.
Yeah. They left together. Yeah.
Thomas. Something. Yes.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. I don't like him. And then eventually they were all over each other like rabbits, and then in the end they didn't end up together. But like it's so rare.
It is.
For women to not like the man that they're with on this show, and so much more of a precedent for the men to be like, I don't like you. Like, what could have helped in both of those conversations where he's like, I'm not attracted to you, is for you to be like, well, I'm not attracted to you. But the point is we have to work at this. True. Because that would have humbled him real quick.
Yeah.
Because right now he feels like the dog's bollocks to come here and look you in your face and be like, you're ugly to me. But I'm willing to work on it. He thinks he's a saviour. He's doing you a favour. Yeah. No, girl, no.
Anyway, the last couple is Lacey and...
God, what long?
Can't find his flipping name.
Callum, Jack. Winslow.
Nathan. Oh, I didn't know he was younger. Lacey's 27.
How old is Nathan?
24.
Oh, that tracks.
Yeah.
That
makes sense now. That makes
tracking.
sense now. So Lacey, stunning, beautiful, mixed race, office manager. Has a twin. She's from Hertfordshire. She is a serial dater, and she's been single for the past 4 years. And she just wants someone that's who will just love her and care for her. Family is incredibly important to her. And for her, it felt like she just wanted someone that is just going to be a really great fit, great banter, really match her energy. And then comes Nathan. He's 24. He's an engineer. He's from Somerset. Best believe I don't know that much about him.
He has ADHD. He had to move schools because his ADHD was so bad, and so he doesn't have a lot of friends from school. He's kind of like, I think that experience has just sort of made him a bit aloof in a sense.
Yeah.
He likes clothes. He says that he likes his focusing on his appearance. He likes going to the gym.
Oh yeah.
Quite simple pursuits.
Yeah. They're a very good looking couple.
So Lacey has a twin, as I mentioned. Growing up, apparently, her sister was considered the hot twin. She was bullied, which I think is very sad. And crazy behaviour. People didn't think they looked like sisters even, let alone twins. It has clearly something that stayed with her. So there is an insecurity there, but actually, unlike everyone else, I think she sort of handles her insecurity maybe a bit better. On the wedding day, the sister comes out, her twin sister comes out first, and Nathan turns around and is like, wow. And then the sister sits down and he's like, oh.
Again, people think that was played by production.
I feel like the conflict with the episode was Nathan wants to fuck her sister.
Yeah.
When really I genuinely think he had no clue what was going on. I would have said, wow, to whoever came down.
Yeah.
If a dog had come down, that would have been impressive. He would have been like, wow. Do you know what I mean? Like, huge nervous energy at the front. His vows weren't very detailed
or deep.
But as he says, he had to have help to write them. Yeah. So I don't think that's a proper reflection of him as a person, or the way that he will be a partner to her. She senses that something is off with him, feels like he isn't paying attention to her, or doesn't want to get deep. And then he explains that he has ADHD, and she's like, my sister has ADHD. And I was like, so you didn't clock? Because I feel like I would clock.
Based on if you were living with someone and in a close relationship with someone that did have it, and then you meet someone else that has similar,
you should know. You should see it.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying that I'm not trying to say that by force, but I'm I think it shouldn't
have been a surprise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it should have been oh yeah. Yeah. That. Well, I feel a lot better now. I thought you were just a prick, but you're okay. Yeah. No. So anyway, she basically, before the honeymoon, she mentions that she doesn't drive because she was in a car crash, and actually she lost 2 friends in a car crash. And Nathan's like, yeah. She's like, that's a bit weird. On the honeymoon again, she mentions, he's like, oh, so can you drive? And she's like, no, I don't drive because I was in a car crash and 2 of my friends died. And he's like, oh. And so then later she's like, I feel like I'm trying to talk to you about something serious and you're just not giving me anything. And he's like, I was struggling. I didn't really know what was going on in the sense of like, I heard what you said, but it took me a while to hear it. And so if I feel like I'm spaced out, it's not because I don't care. It just takes me a while to like process things. And then so they have that conversation. She feels a lot better. He feels a lot better. And then actually the rest of their honeymoon is really sweet. Yeah. At the end, he buys her a necklace.
That was really sweet, actually.
With the Jamaica colours, because she's Jamaican Irish, which they kept saying Jamaican Irish. Jamaican. Is that a special thing? Jamaican Irish?
It's just that she's Jamaican and
Irish. Yeah, I was thinking that. Yeah.
Jamaican Irish.
We're Jamaican Irish. Like. Anyway, he got her a necklace. She loves that.
Yeah, so cute.
They go to the dinner party, and they are actually not involved in the drama, except for Nathan, Mr. Nathan, he's like, it takes me a while to process stuff. He was on it when it came to question. He was like, hey, I feel like, which honestly,
that was a surprise. He opened his mouth.
I mean, I wasn't surprised because part of having ADHD is like, you're on the neurodivergent spectrum, and people on the neurodivergent spectrum usually have special, like, they are able to hyperfocus when they need to hyperfocus on something when something is interesting to them. So it could be that he picked up in that moment on Alex dodging the question or Adam dodging the question, and that's why he was like, oh, there's something here. Okay. So it's like a thread to pull in the way that you telling me that you got hit by a car.
But that's the thing, like,
what am I supposed to...
As I say, like, it's something I need to learn more about. Yeah.
I'm not trying to be insensitive, but realistically, what can I say then? Oh, sorry.
No, it's true, I get it.
And really, the reason why that his O didn't pass is because it was both delivered quite flat.
And his expression, I think in that conversation, maybe there was that, for her, she felt there was a lack of engagement just from him, like, in their connection.
But sometimes you have to...
Again,
let me not say what I was going to say. Sometimes, what's a story for you is not a story for me.
That is true.
It's hard to say because actually I'm only thinking of interesting examples. But if I got here today and you were like, there was a fox in my garden, and then the fox came out of my garden. Okay. Was I supposed to be like, oh my god?
Fabulous, if you did that, you will hype me up so much. I will be adding like. The sky was blue.
The fox had 3 whiskers on one side and 1 on the other. Can you believe it?
And literally, like the fox looked at me. I feel like he was doing to a beat.
But
I'll be honest, if you do that, don't worry, that story's getting hyped.
Whereas sometimes, and I feel like I'm sometimes a bit guilty of this, you can tell me something that happened in your life and I'll be like,